Imagine you're 5 years old, building a sandcastle with your friends. Everyone's digging, shaping towers, pouring water into moats except the one kid who owns the bucket and shovels. And because he owns the tools, he claims that the castle belongs to him, even though you did more than half the work. He even shows of the sandcastle to his parents, and when you try to do the same, he tells you it's not yours and even destroys the castle to spite you. Does this sound fair? Well, a German philosopher with an impressive beard didn't think so either. In the mid-1800s, Karl Marx looked at factories, farms and cities across Europe and noticed something strange. The people doing all the actual work, the ones sweating in factories and ploughing fields, were barely surviving. Meanwhile, the people who owned those factories and fields, who didn't make anything themselves, were getting richer by the day. Marx called this system capitalism, and he thought it was rigged. Here's his big idea. Society is split into two groups. First, there's the bourgeoisie, that is, the people who own the means of production. That's the fancy term for factories, land, machines, all the stuff needed to make things, aka the shovels and the buckets. Then there's the proletariat, the workers, the ones who actually operate those machines and grow the food. Workers need money to survive, so they sell their labor. Seems straightforward. But Marx noticed something sneaky happening. Say you work in a shoe factory. You make 10 pairs of shoes in a day. Your boss pays you enough to eat and pay rent. But those 10 pairs of shoes? Your boss sells them for way more than what they paid you. That difference, that extra money, Marx called surplus value. It's the gap between what you create and what you actually get paid. Your boss pockets it every single day. According to Marx, you're creating wealth, but someone else is taking most of it. He called this exploitation, and he argued that this was a fundamental feature of capitalism. Without exploitation, there would be no capitalism. He said capitalism doesn't just exploit workers economically, it alienates them. Under capitalism, you're not valued as a person. You're valued for how much profit you generate. Your worth is measured in productivity. Marx called this being reduced to a commodity. You become a thing, not a human. You're disconnected from the products you make, from your co-workers, even from yourself, just a cog in someone else's machine. So what did Marx want instead? He imagined a world where workers, not bosses, owned the means of production. No more owners hoarding profits. Everyone who contributes gets a fair share. Decisions about work and resources made collectively by the people doing the labor. Marx called this communism. Not the Soviet Union kind. His version was about genuine common ownership, genuine equality. Marx believed capitalism would eventually collapse. Why? Because its contradictions would become unbearable. Workers, tired of being squeezed, would organize. They'd rise up in revolution. The proletariat would overthrow the bourgeoisie. And from that struggle, a classless society would emerge. No exploitation, no alienation, just people working together. Did it happen that way? Not exactly. Revolutions inspired by Marx swept through Russia, China, Cuba, but the classless paradise never materialized. Instead, many ended in authoritarianism, poverty, and violence. Critics say Marx underestimated how power corrupts, how difficult it is to organize societies without hierarchies, how human nature might resist his vision. But here's the thing. Whether you agree with Marx or not, his ideas changed the world. They forced uncomfortable questions into the open. Who really benefits from the way things are organized? Is it fair that some inherit fortunes while others work their whole lives and barely scrape by? Does the system serve everyone, or just the people at the top? Marx didn't have all the answers. In fact, in the next video, I shall tell you about the problems of Marxism.